Welcome to the 2400 Block Podcast with your hosts, Johnny Rubes and Ken.
Podcast spin, intelligence binge watch. Johnny Rubes with the wisdom, never botch. Dark thoughts ventilate, any crave knowledge. 2400 crew, like grip in college. Clever minds unite, discussions land tight. Sync up thoughts, intertwine, never bark trite. Nights up, lights down, we the crew profound. Johnny Rubes know the truth, bomb is going round. Catchy beats, the block that never sleeps. 2400 sound in your brain it creeps. Catchy sounds, the block that never bounds. 2400 talks and substance that astounds. Catchy beats, the block that never sleeps. 2400 sound in your brain it creeps. Catchy sounds, the block that never bounds.
Well, thanks, Jamie, for the chat. Now it's round two. I'll leave it to my buddy here. Take it away, bro.
Jamie, Ethan. I'm good, man. I'm gonna take my picture out of your face because you'll be like on FaceTime and you're talking to the person, and then the picture will be right there, and you're sitting here like, damn, I look handsome. Oh, my bad. Right so, dude, you've been podcasting, talking about all the stuff that Chester Bennington, and so this portion, if you will, is a fucking break from talking. Because at the end of the day, we start getting a little tired mentally. I believe you're a meditator, correct?
I do meditate often, yes. It's my lifestyle, yeah.
What modality of meditation do you practice?
Actually, that's a good tie into what that last question was, because I was asked what do I intend to do in 10 years. And I think with my developing the archive, I've developed not only an anchor for my sanity, but also a foundation from which to expand. And it's been extremely meditative because I watch and listen to everything that I do. I annotate 10-hour live streams and things like that. So, I'm very meditative by nature. And that's something that I developed for myself is like, how can I take what is traditionally known as a moment of silence? Like a lot of people would say, well, meditation is you sitting there and clearing your mind. But the mind's right. It's always filled with stuff. And so I kind of figured out this kind of interesting experimental way of going with the flow. And I think that ultimately there is no end to what I want, which is really just self-understanding. So I found out about my dad because of me. I went and looked at myself, and when I put together my history, I saw my dad's history and I overlaid them. I was like, wait, we're going through similar things on different dimensions. And so with that being said, I just kind of want to be one of myself. That's it. Meditation is that process.
I'm going to ask this question because meditation, I have ADHD and a bunch of fucking Ds. We can name them all. Borderline personality disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, somatic symptom disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. I am a veteran.
I understand. Okay.
It's from the military and not knowing that I was neurodivergent. But when I discovered it, obviously, when you think of meditation and all that stuff, when you're a person who has ADHD, you're thinking, geez, I got to close my eyes and deal with the cycle circuits that is my brain. Thanks. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So when I did it, it took 3 years, really up until now, for me to really get into that space. When you began meditating, what was your headspace?
I took a hard break from everything. I was raised in a heavily religious background, And I actually had intentions to join the military as a child because I was raised in a military family. My grandfather served in World War II. So I have a lot of respect for things like that. And I didn't realize what I was looking at the time because, even as a kid, I was raised on like Agent Cody Banks, Spy Kids, things like that. So, I was trained from a young age to be disruptive the way that I am, but also to almost worship the government. And so when I became an adult, I was like, I got all this family stuff. I got all this social, economic, political stuff going on in my brain. I have to work out. And being raised in a family that praised God or a God, I was raised in a house that was half Baptist and half evangelical. Like hard Southern Baptist, like Old Testament stuff. And then like the invisible church. Hurt, man. I was like, my family who practiced Baptist religion, they're from Pennsylvania, so like they're not Arizona based like me, but my evangelical relatives are Arizona based like me. So it's very strange. And when I decided I was going to try to see myself, I decided that I was going to black out entirely. I said, if there's a God, it will come to me. If there is a system, it will reveal itself. If there's anything at all, it will make itself known. But I started from a place of very much so like a neutral perspective on everything, right? I'm just a consciousness looking at consciousness. How would I define the word? And then I would clarify. So a lot of my early meditations, I think the word that people might use for me is clairaudient. I get a lot of information from sound and also processing of it's kind of weird, like my brain will stitch things together. So I'll be hearing like a fragment of a song, have a thought, but also see a picture, and it'll just all kind of go together. And I realized that was a skill I had, and that I talk very well. My dad gave me some sweet pipes because I never lose my voice, and I scream and yell and talk all the time. It's like, how the hell? I've literally been sitting on the ground like in tears, like, why won't I lose you? I need you to stop being real. Like, I need to stop talking. And then it's like, because I also consider myself to be neurodivergent and to be a victim of a complex PTSD and therefore borderline personality disorder. That's what my research has told me. So I resonate, and thank you for sharing that with me.
Oh my God! So
yeah,
I knew the universe was going to do some shit today, because okay, so reading is not my thing, and because and this is just something I believe. Whatever the fuck somebody else believes, you can believe it all you want. That's cool and all that, but there's certain things that we tie to. So I always said things just come to me. So when I saw your Instagram and you're talking, I can literally see you processing and grabbing information.
Really? That's cool.
I can sense that because I have the same brain. So when I started meditating and everything, it was almost a way for me to like name what was happening. Yeah. Being a person that can just exist off of innate information and patterns and stuff like that. Sounds like you said.
Yeah, and that's very close. I resonate with that.
And so you mentioned the talking part. I've really learned, being neurodivergent, that having sensory processing disorder, and I've been pending on an autistic diagnosis, that sound something that is annoying unless I can control it. So, it's like the music, and I'm gonna go ahead and drop. One of my favorite, Linkin Park is a collaboration with Jay-Z and the Division Force. Yeah. And it's a sound where it's hip hop, it's Jay-Z. We're talking about two epic bands just going at it, bar for bar. It was like, what? But if I'm sitting up here, I'm going down, and something just hits me out of the blue, like just your average everyday, like, I think it was my son screaming or something like that. Oh my God, I'm overstimulated. So how are you able to get yourself to that place? because meditation is not always, it's not a science at all. It's basically diving within so you can actually get to clear consciousness.
It's personal every time.
Yeah.
I think getting to that point of, because I was overstimulated too. I didn't realize how overstimulated I was. Like, I was so used to overstimulation being normal that I was like, I'm fine. I'm just this way. And then I started peeling back the layers, personifying, for example. I would sit there and I'd talk to myself like, okay, now I'm just going to let the voice go and it's going to be somebody else or something else, an aspect, just. And then, like, I would get visuals of like a inky black octopus in the depths of the darkness of the mind. And then it would be like, hey, I'm your worst nightmare. Just say some crazy stuff to me. And then I'd be like, are you? Like, who are you really? And then it would like reveal that it was a different thing. And it would keep going and going. And I had already had a pretty strong basis in like all the art that I was doing. So all the music, visual art, making films, things like that. So I had a different way of thinking at that point. I was like, I'm an editor, in the booth. Like, I'm putting scenes together in my head. I know how to do that to like Premiere or whatever. So like, it's almost like a similar process. And then I'm like, okay, well, now this thing is acknowledging that I'm very angry, but I don't feel angry. So I need to figure out why they're saying that. And so over a process of time, these personifications just became, like personalities that I had when I was a kid, or ideas that I had placed a lot of importance on at a given time in life with people. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I'm so overstimulated. Like, I really need to I realize that I can't sleep because my thoughts are running wild. I'm realizing I don't have the counterbalance to that inertia. And then I was like, you know what it is? I need to breathe. Yeah. I can't breathe. And then I was like, and you know what it is? I'm not drawing my lines. I think because I've been taught to draw lines a certain way. When I draw a line, I'm actually cursing myself, kind of, because I'm saying like, here the line is here, but really here has a certain coordinate and associative value, like a computer's program, and the line's not here, it's here. And I'm like, why is there no feeling to this? Why is my emotion not stopping? It's like, because your words are false. You're speaking false. You're not. What you think you're saying is not what you're actually saying. And so it became a process of like, okay, you know what I need to do? I need to break everything down. I sat down consciously and said, I am nothing. I have no patterning. I have no reaction to anything.
No time, no place, no thing.
Exactly. And try to hold that, like, okay, what does that even mean? And then one day it was like, wait, okay, I can see when this line is being pushed. Okay, now I can hear when I'm triggered in the music to something, a thought pattern. So like now I'm not only able to project into my experiences, but I'm able to use those experiences to get more information or to create stronger boundaries. And really what I did is I restructured my entire mind, everything from the vocabulary to the behavior to the imagery, everything. And
that was like it's like a sensory detox, because when in a meditation, and you mentioned breathing, and we're going to get into something. I'm not sure if you do this, but breath work. So there's two key things that I believe since I've been meditating, because the way, I don't care if there's been a meditation practice for a gazillion 1 years. If it doesn't make sense in my mind, something's missing. I don't give a fuck. I can't do it that way, but I'm going to do it this way.
That's exactly what I went through. Because I was like, there's no way the way you're teaching this as a Zen Buddhist is like real, because that's not the way this world works. Like, I can't sit down and do the thing you're talking about. That's not a reality here. I gotta make my
foundation is it's the same way that we look at the world. Oh, everybody ears are shaped this way, so we're going to develop, earbuds this way, and then we're going to make little. But my ear holes don't go that. They go, and they kind of curve, twisted down. And I'm thinking, okay, so the way I'm hearing it, it's not that I have auditory processing disorder. So if they're teaching something thousands of years, it's the same thing as the way our society looks at things as cookie cutter. So I added the breath work, and I realized they are not showing how important breath work is, because breath work, you have the diaphragm, your diaphragm breath, that same yawn that is a chemical that's released when you yawn to signify from the pineal gland that hey, you're fucking sleepy. But that breath work is separate sides. So you have, if you're doing belly breath, that's your homeostatic breathing. It's bringing the central nervous system straight in line. All your wiring, everything is firing. But if you're breathing from the chest, that's your fight or flight, your cortisol levels. So you're breathing, you're calm, but you're also ready to go. Yeah. So when I realized, wait a minute, they're not showing the breathing. That's why it takes me much longer to get into a still-minded state to hear, like you said, pinpoint the traumas, my heartbeat. I can literally all individually now, but it took breathing.
That's so cool. Yeah. I love that for you. Like I'm resonating so much with what you're saying. It's
right. So what I'm going to do, and Rubes, I know you're there hiding behind the water cooler in the break room. I'm going to do, by the way, I will be the most nerdy person when it comes to neuroscience, epigenetics, people like Joe Dispenza and the cosmic world.
Right now, dude, that's some universe is pulling some shit right now. I'm literally in the last hour and a half of becoming supernatural.
No way!
Yeah, okay. I wanted to finish it. I've been trying to read it for about 6 months now, and I wanted to share it with people. But I like to read all the resource first. And what he's talking about, I did that to myself. When he's talking about time-space versus space-time in the end, I was going to post that chapter alone because I was like, this is literally what I found for myself. I created my own color meditation. I have my own spiritual process now. I'm like on quantum and make quantum reality work. Like, thank you, bro. Yes.
Bro. This guy, Johnny Rube, but I've known him 20 years as John Eric Jeze. This guy, watch out for this guy. Listeners, this guy is a real people person, like the epitome of people person. Everybody I've talked to, I'm a very big nerd when it comes to mental health because they don't tell you anything until you're struggling, right? And you get diagnosed and that bullshit. You don't realize that the neurodivergent mind, like you were saying, if you're going to meditate, I got to be able to have something to focus on.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's taken my quirky craziness and now I can be the fuck who I am because I may be, Kendrick, all the different names, Bougie, the Mad Content Creator, all these names, but you can't be yourself if you don't know yourself. You feel me?
Yep.
And people are going to, I know myself. No. Do you know, out of everything, if nothing was here, how would you operate aside from anything? Because we have everything we have within.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad that he brought you on, and because I knew when I have a son, and my son is also ADHD, autism, and all these, and he takes all my time. So I have to be able to perceive things fast. I saw your Instagram, and I'm like, this guy is, we're going to be talking about Joe Dispenza for a minute now. Because
it's so crazy.
You're coming back on.
I was like, holy, no way. Oh, I can't bring that up. You got to do it. Thank you. That was amazing.
But hey, I degav, okay? I degav. What are you going to do to me? I'm connected to the universe, and anything that happens to me, good, bad, you guys are living in a duality. I'm living in a place where I understand the bigger picture when we're talking about a monistic perspective. It's all one. So die or not, it's life and birth. They're the same thing.
They are. The beginning is the ending.
So I'm going to get into the breath work so we can cool your mind from. I heard you've been on a pod.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
I'm so excited about this. Okay, I'm down. Let's do it. I'm excited.
So I'm a talker. I had to get out my talking for the day because, I'm neurodivergent, obviously. But this breath work is a Wim Hof breath work. So
Dude, get out of here. Would you calm down?
I won't.
No,
Because I can't.
When I
won't.
I went and I worked when I started.
I just referenced Diddy. I can't reference Diddy right now.
No, bro, scrub that.
Stop. In the end, it really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying?
All right, great, perfect.
Doesn't really matter.
Just throw anything. Anything's better than that.
Anything's better than that. Now, Diddy's and yeah, I can't.
When I studied breath work, I went and I actually looked for people in the real, like in modern world who are doing breath work exercises to get a more modern perspective on what they were seeing. And I read the Wim Hof breath book, and then I modified it, his perspective, his process to fit my needs. And I did that to purge my body. So the fact that you brought Wim Hof up just after Dr. Judge's friends is insane, Ken. You're fucking blowing my mind.
Dude, I've been looking for someone to talk with, and I think I've found him because I sit here every day with this knowledge, and I'm sitting up here and I'm talking to people, and I feel like I'm Kanye. I'm 10 years ahead talking, and I'm thinking, a year from now, when you get this, I'm not going to go shaking my head. I'm already going to be another year more ahead. So I'm just here and raise the vibration of the earth. That's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm trying to do. So anyways, so this particular one, and I'll give the plug. I'm not getting paid for it, but it's Ben Holt breath work. I'll say it because that's where I learned it from. Because I'm just for the record, I have no shame in saying I'm a suicide survivor. So, so I wanted to, I'm a truck driver that decided to stop because trucking rips his soul out and he's behind the wheel. Anyways, I been in rehab and I learned the breath work, and it was on a VAT bed, a vibration acoustic therapy bed. So you're listening to the breath and you're listening to the dude's voice and the bass of the breathing vibrate on your body while you're doing the breath work. So my introduction to breath work was like super cosmic. But I'm going to give you guys the 5 and 5 because I want to do a 5-minute meditation after it. Then we can continue. All right. So
this is my speed, man. This is what I do.
See, there you go, Ken.
Yeah, this is what I do. Let's do it.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 40 controlled breaths through the mouth, not in, nose, and out, or a pranayama. We're just going to do 40 controlled breaths through the mouth. So I was going to put on some dope-ass royalty-free music, but I couldn't find it. So I'll just do my breathing because I got this on lock. After that, on the 40th one, I'm going to signal the best I can. When you exhale, by the way, let me preface this. Belly is what we're aiming for. The homeostatic breathing is in your belly. That also immediately revives your central nervous system if you have major anxiety, PTSD. I have complex PTSD as well. So when we exhale the breath, we get to the last air in your belly. And this is where you got to, woman up, man up, dude up, whatever you up, and just hold that breath. Because what you're doing is you're pumping a lot of oxygen into your brain. So you're able to kind of breathe off that oxygen while your lungs are stuck from air coming in your mouth. Hold it as long as you can. If you have breathing issues, and I'm talking to the listeners and to you guys, don't be a fucking hero. It's not worth it. And then, you might got lawyers. I got me, and I'll run. Yeah, you're not fooling me. But anyways, once you I'm gonna do like a count oral signal, and then I'll say inhale. You're gonna breathe in through the nose, not the mouth.
Okay.
Okay, and when you hit that top of your belly breath, all of these are gonna be belly if you can, even if it's a little bit. If you're not conditioned to the breath work, then you hold. Once you hold, you relax. Start relaxing your shoulders, relax your eyes, relax any muscle in the face. As you were saying, Jay Bizzle, I'm gonna call you Jay Bizzle.
Please do. I love it.
Jay Beezy, Jay Business, Jay Beast.
That's right. Whatever you want, whatever feels good.
You're gonna hold it. Then I'm gonna have you suck in more air to your mouth. So you're kind of going to be holding the breath, but you're going to suck in more air. The reason for this is that starts to expand your lung capacity. And I'm going to give you a little tip there, Mr. Musician / film producer / Yeah. Your singing, when your lung capacities, when you're doing that singing for those notes, those chords your dad blessed you with, it's going to allow you to hold notes in a more controlled way, the more you get your breath control in place.
Absolutely.
So once we suck that air in, we're going to hold it for roughly a minute. Again, I'm going to count, and then we're just going to release. When you release, you're going to own the breath. So when you release on that, so I'm going to direct all of this. Obviously, I have ADHD, so I'm going to direct all of this. When you let that breath go, you're going to this one's like oh. When you're doing that, try your best to control it. That's going to help control the breathing. Like in when you're hitting notes, that ability to control that breath is your same ability to control those notes when you're belting out certain words you want to say in rhythm. And then you're going to hold the breath all the way out, breathe back in through the nose, and then exhale.
You got it.
So I'm not going to do 4. I'm going to do 2 because, I want to explain it because it's the most important part is how you breathe. And if you're not right, at least you're breathing, but it's not going to be as effective. So we're going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you can close your eyes if you want. If you don't want to close your eyes, it's okay. Audience, listeners. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In through the mouth. You're going to feel tingling over time. Last breath. And hold. Into the nose. Hold it. If you can, take some more breath with your mouth and try to hold the breath. We're going to breathe out in 3, 2, 1 with an Om. Now, obviously, it's going to be like
I'm gonna show
a person starting hockey playing for the first time and they're jumbling on the skates. But the next one, now that you got the rhythm, you guys kind of got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I'm just going to focus on direction so I can make sure you guys are getting the most effective. So we're going to start again in 3, 2, 1, in through the mouth. Give it all you got. Last breath. Hold that breath. Gonna breathe through the nose in 3, 2, 1. Hold. Drop your shoulders, relax all the muscles in your face. You're going to sip a few more sips of air and fill your lungs. And exhale in 3, 2, 1. Oh. You know? All right, and you can close your eyes for this piece, or you can open them if you want, and just go into like a dead day stare, but find a focal point. We're just going to sit here and just focus on everything that we're literally trying to accomplish in our day into like a smart goal, or it's not just this big thing that we're upset about or this sidebar thing that's throwing us off. We're dead focused on the very fine root of what it is that we're trying to accomplish every day. And as we're focusing on that, you're focusing on really the rise and fall of your belly. And you're taking all that energy of that thought you just produced, that fine root thought, and you're just going to breathe in the nose. And flush that thought back into the universe. And with that, you're just going to take just a 1 or 2 minute just silence. And find a focal sound you said, Jamie, that a sound you can focus on and help you train your stillness. And generic, it can be your mic. I'm kidding.
It's you, Ken.
Well, thanks. You know, I am pretty goddamn handsome.
Sound like it.
And when you're ready, you're going to open your eyes, or if you're in a focal point, come out of it real slow. And if you want to hang in it for a minute, literally just let your body read what it is that's happening, because it's our inner selves that we're trying to bring out. So we have 100% of the outside world and 100% of the inner world, the real us that's wanting to do what comes natural. So breath work, when you do it enough, especially when you're dealing with a lot of stress, and I know you're going through a lot, dealing with people's hate, which is elevating. It's elevating anyway. Or the things that are tying you up when it comes to the podcast, John Eric, when you take these moments to breathe, especially if you can do it right when you start to feel an anxiety or any kind of like low frequency energy. It's hard because obviously me being borderline personality disorder and so on and so forth, I saved my life this week. So I had an ideation this week and I laid there for 2 hours before I said, okay, I'm going to breathe. And I did. That breath literally, it brought energy to my brain where all that low frequency energy was humming around telling me, you know, this is bullshit, man. You're coming and you're saying all these cool things. You're doing all these cool things. Or in case, Jamie, you're putting your dad's legacy out there in a positive way so you can say, hey, the band did say, because I remember we're going to hold back. We're going to stay away from this whole thing because Chester is a humongous part of the band.
Yeah,
but it's not going that way. So when you wrap your mind around what Mike Shinoda is doing or what they're doing in the band, that breath will take you to a center place so you can effectively think about what you want, you know, your dad's legacy. Because I can see from your energy that, and there was a quote your dad said when it was talking about the writing process, and it was really referring to taking responsibility for you in it.
Yeah.
And I think that was your big call was when you were saying, so, you know, so with that said, how was the breath work for you guys today?
Who wants to go first?
What's that?
How about you? You want to say something, Johnny? How was that for you?
Oh man, it's something new to me. I just have to get used to this. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I felt my body, you know, really at ease in the end. It feels like I was gravitating.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You levitated?
It felt like it, yeah.
Hold on, flame.
Yeah, I felt like I felt very much so triggered to my bodily traumas. You know, when I started doing breath work, it was really interesting because I was doing essentially similar breath routines, and I used to get to the point where I curl up like this. I can't get out of it because that's how much tension my body, like the neuro pressure that I'm under. Yeah. I've done that my entire life. Now, what I realize is that the problem with keeping the emotions in the body and not expressing them properly not incorporating meditation as somatic therapy, like just somatic, right? Whoa!
Yeah.
I don't know how I did that. Oh, hey.
I know.
You helped him bring balloons, Ken.
He's saying such profound stuff when it comes to medicine. The body is its own medicine. Releasing quantum physics thing, these waves, that's all emotions are, is waves. Releasing them is an energy, because energy, you can't kill energy. When you release that energy, it's not in you, because that same energy is also matter. So when you release it, it's not going to go from anxiety down to a knee pain, a back pain. Like me, I have a herniated cervical in my C4, C5. But when I get anxiety now, obviously neurodivergence, live in fight or flight, it's automatic. So you can't help it, but the breathing, the meditation allows you to release that energy. And most people don't really understand. Again, we can Joe Dispenza this all day long, is that it's an unseen swirl in the unified field of consciousness.
I thought too, when I started doing breath work, what happened to me was like, what I realized is that the thought patterns themselves come with behaviors. Every thought comes with action. And what I realized was that when I was unable to properly define or maintain boundaries or definitions of things, when I brought breath work into the body, what I actually was doing was taking all of the thoughts I didn't have definitions for. Allowing them, transmuting them into the behaviors that they act as. So that comes with the clenching of the hands and the stimulation of the central nervous system and all sorts of things. And so where I would do those breath work exercises until I literally was curled up like this, and I'd sit there, and I just have to sit there in fight or flight at like the most intense, like rigid muscle contraction, and just sit there and rub it out for hours until I was out of it. Sometimes I'd even have to call my partner and be like, "Bro, can you just help me up, because I literally can't stand on my own." Because I have to like push out of it. And that when I realized, oh wait, all I'm doing is bringing the thoughts into action, I realized, oh wait, everything has a cost. And that's what happens when you don't allow your emotions to be expressed somatically through the voice, through actions like breathing and whatnot. You trap the actual behavior into your body, and it's meant to be shaken out. So I got good at shaking it out, which is a great manifestation to start with. I shake the tree all day.
It was so good, the lights went out. Oh.
Yeah, you stole its energy, Ken.
Yeah. This is awesome. I love this. This is so cool. I did not expect to be doing meditation or breath work. I'm so stoked right now. This is super cool.
You guys release DMT, by the way. So when you're doing that, there's another one that I do is euphoric breathing. That releases the DMT. But you're right. Everything you said is right. And the somatic part, for those who don't understand, is the physical body. Mm-hmm. The physical body now has those behaviors. Now we're talking epigenetics, where gene expressions are expressing something, and then the brain doesn't have to send signals. Now your body just is the brain. Mm-hmm. It's going to just keep doing that. So when you release it, even though this is hocus pocus, because it's not, I mean, how the hell are we talking right now? Because there's an autonomic nervous system working. That's why. So John Eric, when you have, can you imagine now using this when you have a moment where you're just caught and you can't take depression or whatever it is you're struggling with? Can you see grabbing onto this?
I think so. Thanks for.
I mean, because you're on camera.
No, he's like.
He's like, yes, I would use that. Thank you very much for the resource.
Sponsored by. No, seriously, for me, it was real because when I started, meditation, I have insomnia. So when it allowed me not to have to take my medication anymore, I was like, yo, all right, this is nice. I like this. It's hard. I also have aphantasia, so I cannot picture stuff.
Me too.
So when people do guided meditations, I'm like, so when do I get to see the ocean with the sand and people?
Bro, man, what the fuck? I say that all the time. I'm like, it must be so nice.
You know what? The founder, I forget his name because, again, I don't have no problem saying it. Neurodivergent, I'll forget. But the founder of Pixar has aphantasia, and he's the animation. Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I forget the name. I'll put it in the description below.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you figure the reason for that, and this is just recent, fresh information off the, one of my nicknames is cerebral cortex, not cortex, corn chip.
Okay. After that.
I didn't realize, because I can say, why can my kids, I'm never going to be able to, see these visions. I'm never going to heal. And I realized my body the other senses are working much better. So I go into a vivid dream, REM sleep. That's when I will see cause I don't know what level or scale. But that's when I will see the image. But if you told me to close my eyes and picture an apple, I'm literally going to see fragments like we're in Atari or something, or the Matrix.
I'm going to describe my thought process because really, if you ask me to envision an apple, I would see the black behind my eyes.
No, it's black, like
it's just nothing.
Like black, or are you talking about like
it's like the abyss? It's like my shit right here. It's like dark. It's just closed eyes. That's it. That's all I ever see.
Okay, so do you if you shine the light in your eye, you're gonna see like dark, but it's gonna be straight skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight skin. Okay. So I've been wondering because I've always wanted to ask another person who had maybe had it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I see. I guess I'm imagining it being the Matrix. So my imagination is so vivid. I'm creating my own, vision behind it. But it's not.
I didn't think I was aphantasic for a while, but then when I started asking myself, what am I doing when I write scripts or when I write music? Do I actually ever see anything? And my answer was never. No, I just have thought constructs about it.
Right. So check this out, man.
Drop it.
Minority Report. Doing this.
Okay.
So if I'm creating, and this is a big old hint, J.E., as to how my photography even exists, I can picture within a nanosecond the scene, how I'm going to compose it, the end result, all in that split scene while I'm composing. But if you were to tell me to describe it or teach it, I could not do that. It's happening live. It's like live creating.
Huh.
And I think that's kind of what you were saying, Jamie, where Jay Bizzle, where you're saying you're seeing the lyrics, you're seeing the scene, and it's just you're able to transmit it to words or pictures. Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
I think so. I think for me, it's like my body. I don't know if it's just because I'm elevated in a certain way, because I do have a certain kind of way of looking at things. But yeah. I feel like my body and my mind don't communicate like that. I feel like when people see the mental image, they're actually sensing it in the body. They're feeling the touch of it. They're seeing the light change.
Right.
They're experiencing it. I'm not experiencing it. I'm thinking about it.
Right.
Everything I am is an equation. That's why I broke down my language and my behavior. Because my behavior is dependent on my language, because my language is dependent on my thought. So break down the thought process, change the language, change the behavior, create consistency through regular interaction, starting in practice like breathwork, yoga, things like that. Or even improvising on the piano, or writing out lines for poetry, or whatever it is. And I kind of turned my aphantasia into a gift, but really I think it's like my body doesn't connect with my thoughts that way. Like, I won't feel certain things like that. Yeah. My dreams totally vivid. I won't remember them. It's very complicated.
So we're like identical twins in aphantasia, because there's like, I looked it up on Wikipedia. I think nowadays you can say, if you look up some up on Wikipedia, even scientists are using Wikipedia now, but
yeah,
it is like
sources. I think it's reasonable.
I'm going to go look at you. Help the scientific journals. But when you look it up, there's a red apple, gray, and it's light gray. I'm like, I don't see an apple, so I don't know what scale I fall on, but I always wonder, how am I able to create or be in any ways remotely intelligent without reading? I'm like, I don't read, but I can write you, I can get you a grant to the White House. You can buy the White House. I can get you that kind of grant. I see everything happening. I'm writing it down, all that. So when you're in that process of creating, how do you explain? Oh, you got
I just have my hand on my arm like that.
Wow.
And the thumbs up emoji. Is it this? I have to do this.
Wait a minute.
There we go.
Oh.
I don't know where the leaks came from though. Maybe it was like this.
Do I have points here too?
I think so. Give it a try.
I don't think it's 3 dots. I decided to put my iPad to my cell phone, so.
Let's see. He's going to do it.
Oh.
Is it working? Or is it just me?
Thumbs up. I think it's all Jamie here today, guys.
So here's the cool thing about this segment. Most of the time, our lives are super constructed, and we are on time space.
Yeah.
Right? That's where we're fucked, because time space is, I got to do X, X, X in order for me to get there, whereas space time, it can connect immediately. It's just a matter of the collective consciousness that has bridged to collapse that time frame. So having fun like this is present moment. We're talking about healing now. Breathing is healing. Just having an interaction where it's not scripted or constructed allows for natural law to happen. You know, because you're on a podcast right before this, and you're in this zone of time got to be gone for this. And I was saying, literally, if we can go back in, history and time, Kendrick was saying, dog, let the universe handle this. The universe got this. Thug life for the universe. Because guess what, dude? This podcast is so foundational to what the block really is about. It's about a safe space where you can just fucking chill out and be who the are, no matter what orientation of human you are. That covers sexual orientation. It covers racial orientation. It covers gender, because being who you are is how we evolve. We're human racing. We don't need to race anymore. I think we're pretty good at talking, walking, and doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
You can race with yourself. Why not? You're at the point where you can race with yourself. That's the only thing you got to do. The only race is you.
The funny thing is, when I'm racing myself, it's kind of like the dog chasing his tail thing, and I'm just like, my butt hurts, so I'm not, so don't want to do 10 hours. Let's stop competing with myself. And you know what? More recently in this rehab process, since I decided to stay on Earth, I was fucking my ass off, man. I mean, delivering America's everything, and I did it like every generation keep it pushing and, so don't show face, blah, blah, blah. And then it came to that point, and now I'm living in miracle land, so seeing that natural flow feels a lot better than the, time process of trying to get something done, and that's more in control.
Yeah.
You mentioned something that is really important. The body not being connected to the mind.
Mm-hmm.
In autism, it's called interception, where you can be wanting to eat, but your mind is going, wow, dude, I got this. I'm almost done with this lyric, or
you're literally describing.
no.
I didn't know that was a word. What did you call it? It was interception?
Interception is that connected to mind and body. So when you're talking about mind heart coherence, it's literally the inner quantum energy of body and mind. So the heart, as Dr. Joseph Spinda, and again, I'm not plugging, but this is the knowledge that I have. The body and the emotions, love, peace, hate, all that is pumping through here. And when you're breathing, you're sending that up to your brain. And when your mind is no longer connected, and the body's just doing it, you start having these, anxiety attacks that just render you helpless. The mind had nothing to do with that anymore. So when you start breathing and getting into that mind-heart coherence and in yoga, now putting that mind and body back together, that it's all communicating. So for instance, a person, I'm going to use like I'm writing a book, Oliver, my son, Oliver. His name is not Oliver, but
okay, good.
Oliver, he knows that he has to use the restroom, but because the restroom's a scary place, and the video game world that he loves and is always intelligent. So he it's FOMO to an extreme, right? So he's not connected to himself at all. So he doesn't, that's what it means, the intercepting part. So, yeah. So, with that said, now that you're in this place, because we're nearing the time here, now that you're in this calm place, what is the message that you want to leave on I'm calling you woke folks, because you're a part of people that understand the very foundations of what's happening on the evolutionary process. What message do you want to leave the naysayers, the haters, the people out there that don't know what the real foundation, that root I was talking about in meditation?
Ooh.
What do you want to?
I had a similar question from somebody recently, like in the last 2 days, and I think I answered. Can you guys? There's like a feedback on my side. Are you hearing that?
Yeah, that's weird.
Oh, that's true.
Maybe I can mute it. Hold on, maybe I can mute it.
I'm not sure when it
Did
started.
it go away?
Yeah, it went away.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I can hear you.
Okay, I took it off. So it's like I'm a techie, but times of essence.
No, it's okay. I had given an answer to a similar question, which was that I don't have any words for haters. You can't really do more than like lead someone to something. I led the horse to the water. I am not going to go drink. That's a waste of my time.
Right.
People are going to see what they can see, not what they want. They're going to see what they are able to. And I think that that's a big part of the meditative process, is realizing what you have control over and what you don't. And I don't have control over people who don't understand and don't care to, or are trapped in complexes of the mind and the body that prevent them from accessing their self. So I really have more something to say to the people who do care, the people who are supportive, the people who are finding this to be a helpful experience. You know, so many people have come to me and said, I have not been able to stay for years, whether it's because of gesture and the situation or because of what happens. But like, they just come to me and say, you know, I didn't know I could talk like that. I didn't know I could stand my ground like that. I didn't know you could do these. And he was helping me realize that I was right, or that I did see that when it happened. And I can actually really take action against for things that I care about. And to those people, the ones who do see it, you know, my message to them is that everything that exists in your sphere exists because it's compatible with that energy. You are now interacting with me only because you are compatible, which means that the things that I'm saying and things I'm doing register with you.
It's like a neural link.
Yeah, it's like a neural link, exactly. It's like a psychic link between me and all these people. And they're like, including you guys now. And, you know, it's just kind of about cultivating change, because it's the consistency. I've been saying this too. Peace is not useful. Peace is something that is unreal. It's not real. It's a dimension in which you are striving to achieve, but because of the way that the locality of space works, you will never get it. You will never get exactly what you want, because what you exactly want is unreal to the local context. In the continuum you are in, you can access what you have, but you have to first identify what you have. You have to identify your continuum, and then you have to decide for yourself what you want to do with that.
Right.
For ancient teachings, right? These are things that are ever present. Say that again?
It's like SMART goals for consciousness.
Yeah, kind of, because you actually have to disembody yourself, and I think a lot of people are disembodying themselves to hear. I think they're really kind of behind the pressure of reality to hear something either they are not used to, hear something that they've been paying to their setting to shut down about, or never any mix of things. And I feel like all I have to say is something positive to them. You know, like, you're here right now because you're on the right time. You're here now because you are ready for that truth. You're ready for that. You're ready for that growth. And I think a lot of people do that. And so don't worry about the haters, because everybody's going to try to take anything from you. You know, like, you are always going to have to kind of fight for what you want. But you also have to figure out what the fight is before you can fight it. You know, you might be in a boxing match versus a long-range sniper shooting. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference. If you're in a gunfight, don't bring a knife. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be aware of your context. And so I think a lot of people are awakening to that context, and I think they just need to be aware that there will be many resistance to that energy of peace. But peace is a boundary that has to be enforced. And honor and integrity maintained. Creation is not a result, but a sustaining of an action. Creation is the action itself. It's holding something for a while. You know, a lot of people think like, oh, well, creation is, I made the album, now it's over. But no, creation is the process of making an album. By the time that you're done making the album, you're on to the next one.
Yeah, there's SMART goals in it. You know, you got to start in each. You know, there's harmony in the diversity of that creative process. Yeah. But if without the process, there won't be any harmony.
You can't have software and hardware that isn't compatible with software. Right? And so the software would be your mind, which is really accurate. And then the hardware would be in here. So you create these mental structures as machines. These machines allocate energy, which is thought and emotion. And the longer you hold that vibration, the longer you hold that amplitude and consistency, the longer you work with more intensities with a greater coherence, you are able to achieve the state that you're desiring. And that includes flexible self-rigidity. You know, you have to stay strong in who you are, but also be willing to move and change whatever you get into. 50% preparation, 50% running away. And I feel like people are getting that, and I just haven't, all I have for them is this words of encouragement, you know. This is only going to get more intense. It's like when you're in a dream and you're waking up, and then the dream starts attacking you. Until you push through that mirror wall, and then it's like, no, okay, we get it, you're the boss. It's you're going to be faced with some serious adversity, whether it's the fan base, the band, your family, your social circles, economics, politicians, it doesn't matter what it is. You're going to have to learn what you need so that you can bring it in whatever capacity. And that manifestation may not be one manifestation, it may be the same thing over and over and over again. I had dozens of iterations of this exact platform before 3 years before I came back. That's what I did. I spent every day reiterating what I was going to do. In the present moment, extending into the future. And I still didn't get what I wanted. You know, and then, you know, somebody tried to hack my account. And then from there on, it was like, okay, my life's on the line. Drop story, drop it. And then build on it, because this is what's going to keep you from being happy. Yeah. And that's the reality of the situation. And that's how I ended up here. But you know what? I turned around in the middle of that and I went, hey, you hacked my account. Thank you. Because guess what? You proved to me that I don't need to make one good step. I need to make a bunch of mistakes, and I need to be able to roll through them. You know, it's not about doing it. It's about rolling with the punches. And guess what?
All the details. Yeah, the mistakes have all the details. But, you know, what do I need the end result when the details are in the mistakes?
So, like, I wouldn't be here right now having this wonderful interaction if they didn't try to rat me out, if they didn't try to take my life. And that was another moment in my life where meditation came full circle, and I said, you know what? No, I choose to be here. Just like you said, I choose to be here. Because this is my life. I want to do what I want with it. And I want my power. You know, if you guys ever watched Hunter X Hunter?
No, I haven't.
I've been saying it's one of my favorite animes of all time at this point. And I relate so much to some of the characters. And it's just genuinely good writing. And, but that's me. Hunter x Hunter is me. I'm going to kill if they were one person. And I am stupid motivated. Right? 8 times 10, times 1,000. Like you're asking, do I ever sleep? Yeah. Is there a rising fan tattoo coming in? This sounds fun. Like, I said that from my dad, though. Like, I said I want to be here, so there's no way I'm not going to stand in that reality. If I said I'm going to give up my desire to be separate from this reality to be here, then we're in the gym every day. Then we're doing the punching bag every day. Then we're online refining our voice and our process of speaking and thinking every day. If that's what it takes. You know? Yeah. Like, go do 1,000 push-ups. Oh, I'm tired though. No, you don't get to say that. Fights pick you. You don't pick them. Right. And it's like, oh, you're right. Okay. Gotta go work on my head. Gotta go work on my aura. Gotta go work on my mind. Gotta go work on my steadfastness. And that's what this is. This is all virtual. I haven't been in real life yet. We haven't seen these people in person. I'm practicing my MMA right now.
Oh, okay, that's what I was talking about.
You know, it's not physical. This is all mental. It's all psychic warfare. You guys want to be all tough about it? Well, let's do it. You know, Mike Shinoda went into this thing. Andrew gave me the idea. I gave myself the power. I wrote a whole fucking thing about it. I wrote a song that would normally take me 6 months. I know myself so clearly. I just went, there it is. Then we're done. It took me 2 days. And it's good.
I think I forgot what was it, Napoleon Hill. It's a definiteness of purpose. When every bit of your being, to even the lazy thoughts, are on board with what's going to happen. Yeah, so what takes 6 months is like 60 minutes. That's all it took because you were like everything. Nothing's bothering you. Not haters, no naysayers, not desires, nothing. It's boom. Because
Even just preparing yourself. Like I knew that when the time came, I would want to express myself. So what did I do? Did I write songs? That's not how I did it. I went and I cleared up my mind, reorganized my thought structure, put actions behind them to do long-term patterns. And then by the time that came along, it was like, oh, I already said it. Done. And it's like, wait, I just did that, but really what happened is I spent years preparing myself to receive it. And then I received it. And I know myself so well, there's my style already. I don't even need to think about aesthetic, nothing. I got the track, I dropped the lyrics, that's it. And I think that's so beautiful. That's literally what life is like. The more you prepare yourself for something, the more adversity you'll face, sure, but also the more you'll be able to understand when something is going your way, even when it doesn't look like it. I was trying to write a song for like a year. I was like, I can't even get the words out. I was so scared to come out of this step, but here I am doing it live.
when you look at yourself now, because in mental health, it gets to a point where you're, doing the same thing, expecting a different result, or you get sick and tired of being sick and tired. When you look at yourself now with this little fucking Socrates level of innate wisdom versus how you're reacting in your PTSD and your neurodivergent state then, how do you see yourself now? Because that was just the greatest potential. It's a journey. Like, how do you see that change now, especially growing up in that realm of your father? Like, I mean, we're talking end of life by your hand, and then you're going through that yourself, and so you're in this position to where you're making these changes to speak this way. This is a very advanced level of intellectual thought process when it comes to life and people.
I feel like having a celebrity dad kind of made it like easier. To be honest, Chester's very famous and very caring people. And so, when you're on stage and you see again 100,000 all like, you're like, there's no way. That's the only thing parallel to that is worship, Like, and he's like, but he knows that. He knows that though, and it's like that's why I say that the band has a responsibility, because Chester knew that. He knew what he was doing, and he wasn't playing. All right, he knew what he was manipulating, but he wasn't manipulating. And I think that that's really important to consider in retrospect, because at the end of the day, we're both big-headed people. At the end of the day, we're people who we have given ourselves to others in ways we didn't have. And in other words, become more like you and less like me. And I think that is a really important perspective to keep in mind when thinking about looking back at my situation, because the Picture Pieces archive has been something that helped me realize that. Like, I look back and I'm like, there are crazy moments of like, oh no. And then I realized, oh wait, no, I was scared the whole time I was making the wrong choice. And I'm terrified of the world, because nobody taught me how to do the things the right way. And so like, I'll look back and I'll see, I have a Snapchat I just posted on my YouTube, made it part of the official archive, where I'm like, it's Trump and Hillary. I'm like, if there's anybody mad at white people over this election, you can die a real slow, painful death. And in retrospect, there are things like that, and another post that I made where I was talking to myself on my Instagram. It was like New Year's, and I was stuck at the cabin. There was no remote phone service. I had a girlfriend I had to be around. Any things I wanted to do. And I remember being depressed in my bed, and I was talking to myself in my comments, and when I look back, I saw that I used the N-word against myself.
Wow.
And then I was like, why did I say that?
That's why women reverse racism on yourself.
No, literally. I went back and I was like, why did I say that? And then I was like, you know what? It's because, and I was scared to say that, and I was scared to be around any of this racial complication with Russian, because let's be honest, the last 5 years has been really crazy. Even the last couple of fire.
Oh man, I thought you were the Brady Bunch, bro. Come on.
Doc, bro.
No. I was saying, I thought you had a pleasant life. You mean it was a crazy upbringing? What do you mean?
Oh yeah, no, no Brady Bunch here, and that's something you laugh at when you're impoverished in the streets of Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get some men.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go hang out with the Aryan brother. He's like, damn, dude. And then so when I saw this, I was like, why did I say that? I was like, because my friend Avery, who was like my only one in school, was like, you can say the word, and I was like, are you sure? And he was like, yes, you're my brother, dude. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like a sophomore in high school. And I'm like, I don't think so, bro. And then he's like, no, you can. And so I'm over here saying it to myself, all pissed off that I'm like isolated and lonely. And I never would do that, ever. I was so crazy at that time, just with, I'm not gonna lie, like, I'm street trash. I'm white trash from the street. Like, that's just where I live. Okay? There's no other way to live. That's just the same way.
Like down south, because I was Michigan. There's all kinds of different white trash. There's all kinds of different ghetto Negroes. So now you gotta tell me, what kind of white trash were you?
I grew up literally around my mom hung out with the people from like she was my granddaughter. Like I had Aryan Brotherhood in my home. I had like really hard stuff. I was like facing home invasion and shit, like all my childhood before I met Chester. My mom had to give me up. Like it was really serious. And me and my brother. And so like reflecting on that, I don't feel so bad for saying it, but I feel crazy because I'm like, no, I trusted my friends. He was confused. I don't think I would never do that. Like I would never like you know what I mean? But also like looking back at the election, it's like I was so sad, so psychotic at that point. I was like the white stereotype. I knew my whiteness. I was like, people think I'm a rapist just because I'm white. People think that I hate them intrinsically because of their race and all these things because I'm white. I'm just a weird little nerdy ass fucking white kid who just is dying and trying to specialize and get somewhere. I'm undiagnosed. I'm untreated. I'm terrible. And everybody in the family makes fun of me for it. And then, it's kind of hard. But it's still like those. This is the white. This is what you're telling me. This is the white burden, or specifically Jay Business burden. I just knew that I was the weird, feral, untreated, crazy white kid who just was so twisted up in all the culture and everything. I was just like, dude, I know this. But nobody here will why because they're all white. I see my family whitewash people, and not intentionally. It's just four strong in the family. Like, damn, bro, like. And so part of my self-realization was coming to terms with my guilt and shame over the colonialism of my past. As I learned more about myself, I have to realize that a lot of the reason we're here right now is because of my ancestors.
You know what?
But it's okay.
Conversations with a black man, and funny enough, there is a friend. I will shout her name out. She's autistic. She is awesome. I'm a vet, so I go to the VA pharmacy, and this person, because my autism understanding is very new, so I meet her, and I'm sitting up here going, and I say, hey, you know what? I'm neurodivergent, autistic. Anyways, we end up exchanging numbers, just because I wanted to understand more about autism. But it turns out, and this is just the most, I don't want to say bizarre, but it's bizarre for me because the white perspective is the one that's always the one negative ones you said. All the negative ones. Oh, the white person, they got the best credit for the comedians. all the crazy things but the burden ones that you don't hear. So she tells me on a very regular basis. It was kind of sad because I'm a more of a monistic, oneness type person. But she says, I'm not going to mention her name for reasons. I don't like being white because of those things you said, because of our association with slavery, because of our association with the colonialism, and obviously, and even in my blood, I have, English in my blood too, but it started with the British. So this is really an advanced British colonization right here. And she said, I don't want to be white because of those association. I wish I was Mexican. And I told her, I was like, my comedic brain kind of went a little numb. My satire brain went a little numb. So I had but any of it. I was like, that is like, well, everybody wants to be white because it's called whitewash in the first place. Yeah. But when the white person wants to be the hardest working human in the nation, you'll find a Mexican everywhere. My spouse is Mexican. My sons have Mexican. But you want to be Mexican, that's a statement. So you having this conversation right now is the healing conversation we need to have, because it's a translucent conversation about fear versus guilt. Yeah. Fear versus guilt. Like, what the fuck, man? We ran the race. We've conquered land. The Indians, they're been pissed off. They got reparations, but they still should be. So if
that's even a good word for it.
But yeah, reparations, like a word that was made up. My point is that you can never pay for oppression. But when can we just have a conversation and just really ask the questions that you're fearful of?
That's really what I did. When I broke my mind down, my partner is Hispanic. They're Peruvian as well. And so when I got into a relationship with them, I chose that relationship. I said, I don't want to date a white person. I don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who's a part of the mainstream. I want to know them, push me, test me, and challenge me to look at myself differently. And that's what trilogy has been to me. But one of the biggest problems that we've had is they sometimes will get frustrated. In the past, they've gotten frustrated with my ideal. Being a white man, we took DNA tests. And the saddest thing to me ever in my whole life, after everything I've been through, what really broke my heart the most? It wasn't my mom abandoning me. It wasn't my dad dying. It wasn't the Malays that I was trapped in like Canada for decades. It was looking at their DNA tests and seeing all of my colonial ancestors, every country, every ancestor, and being like, oh my God. It's a human race problem right now, but how do I not get upset about that? I shouldn't be here. This is crazy. And then it's like, but then it's also like, wait, but I'm also the same. So, there's a point to overcoming the shame after acknowledging it, but the shame was so hard for me. Like, genuinely, I'm not messing around. Like, this is not some kind of like me trying to wiggle my way into some kind of conversation in the culture or whatever. It's like, this is something I experienced. Like, I had to undo my life. I had to confront the sins of my ancestors.
Everybody listeners, podcasters, musicians, humans, what did you say? You had to undo my life. Which is a conscious effort and a choice. That's a phenomenal thing, and as a black man, because I got to say that because I happen to be melanin, that's a very honorable thing to be the solution to a very easily solved problem, which is just understanding. That's the foundation of any joy, is just being understood. Let's take the gender neutral or the gender community. understanding behind that too. A lot of people will probably not understand because of their education, but there's not a legendary holocaust in understanding the LGBTQ plus community. I think I got all the letters.
You got it. I think you did.
Very sorry if I didn't. But the understanding is love, and love is the universe. So that's the end of it all for getting to the foundation of everything. But for the closing of this, and this is because you're headlining and you're taking this, undoing this to the public eye, and for those who don't understand it, it just looks like crazy, and you get stressed.
A little unhinged.
I'm not crazy. You're not woke, and this guy is a chosen one, and he's woke. What do you want to see done with Linkin Park if you were given if Mike Shinoda came up to you and said, dude, really want to squash this fucking beef we're having. I get it, your father is really important. What would you want to see for his legacy?
For Chester's legacy or Linkin Park's?
What's that? Yeah. Oh, well, both. Like, well, look with your dad, because your dad is obviously your priority. What would you like to see for your dad's legacy?
We were talking about this with Johnny, me, myself, and I. We were talking about this with Johnny, and we were saying, there's a pretty big conversation that needs to happen around what legacy means and what people are willing to buy into in terms of legacy. Because there's Chester and what he wanted for himself, and then there's now a long history of people claiming what Chester wanted for himself. And so the definition needs to be acknowledged, the context needs to be acknowledged. I feel like, and I also said earlier, there are ways they could have done what they were doing in respect of Chester. And they could have been like a open guy, and then they could have been honest. I don't have a problem with happening. I have a problem with they choose to interact with their presence. And so far they've refuted any responsibility for their actions, any acknowledgement of the past or the future in a real meaningful way and not human bother. And so even though I can't see Mike coming over and asking me to squawk it, I would say that I always would practice forgiveness. I think that people are just too complex to put in a box, and that no matter what, there's always going to be a large amount of ambiguity in what he should or should not be able to do.
Yeah.
Because zero is his thing. It's also bracket and Linkin Park is an extension of that. So I wish them success. I hope that my fan theory is true. What I think might be going up behind the scenes, I hope that's more real than anything. But in the case that he's just a grumpy, almost 50-year-old rock star who wants to get the shit out of whatever he can, then, I would just practice forgiveness and moving forward. Of course, I'm going to hold him accountable. But that doesn't mean that I don't care. That doesn't mean that I don't want to help you have and successful. It just means that if you're going to go up and you're going to say, I am this evil demon and I'm going to act this way. Not that he's saying that, but say you're committing to a life. You walk. Yeah. You can't say thug life without being thug life. You can't do it. So go do it. So just go do it. If you're going to
You can't just be like, you know what, I'm honorary. No.
No, it's like there's a line from Tyler, the Creator, who said, I'm going to use different words, but it basically says, lukewarm bitches only want to talk, but I'm deep to the core like first on such time. You might get booed. And it's like, no, for real. No, if you're going to be a star, get the fuck up on stage and be a star. That's so much shit. Like, you're trying, bro. Like, what do you mean? You're on stage and you're moving like this. I get the vibe, but you're not at that concert.
Yeah.
You dance like that at Cali Yuki's concert.
Yeah.
You don't do that at, a place for my head. You don't do that. You don't do that. Like, it's so strange. And I just, that's why I'm saying, like, if you're going to be demon, then demon. Let's go. If you want to hit God mode, hit God. Do it.
Yeah,
but don't
like,
get any happy.
Yeah.
But that's just what happens.
Yeah. In a psychological, it's a cognitive distortion. So don't live it. Just be fully blown melatonin tone. I rock skeleton bones.
Don't lie to yourself.
For worse beats. That's my beat.
Could you imagine stepping up to the plate like this as Linkin Park and then being like, I'm only going to half-ass it? Like doing all this damage, having no intention of doing anything helpful at all, acknowledging anything, and then just being like, I'm kind of bored now, guys. Like, that would be just left in the face. No, you gotta go out, you go dance, you play your songs like your life depends on it, because it does.
Yeah, it does.
You pay for this with your life energy, so go ahead and get what you pray for.
Yeah.
I'll be here to forgive you when you're done, and keep you at an arm's distance, and watch everything you do, you snaky person.
I think, honestly, at the end of the day, that's what Chester represented in the first place. He represents, like, if you're going to be that, be it. And if you're going to do something, take responsibility for your actions, period. So the energy you bring
to Drake, he said, have you played, have you ever? Okay, let's play. Have you ever walked down your enemy with a poker face? Have you ever dropped $500 in an open case? I have. I failed at both, and I came out straight. It's like, no, if you're going to walk a dude down, walk them down. You don't pull a gun and aim it without the intention to shoot it. What are you talking about?
Yes, I'm military, so it's everything is real. Like, it's real. If you come out and you are feeling threatened, the more there's like a 99.999% chance you're going to be done because I felt threatened. Not because I felt I have to maim you, make sure that you go away or scare you. No, I'm eliminating a threat. Now, that's extreme, but be about it. Don't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Actions speak louder than words, literally. If you didn't have a vocal box, because vocalizing is just another way to project information, and you just walked it out. I walk it out, and then you walk it out, and everybody's seeing what's going on. It may not be able to hear anything, but we gonna walk it out.
Yeah.
If you start talking about it, and the persons that don't know how to hear, and can hear, they're not gonna do nothing but try to move their lips. That's what I'm saying.
That's why you're like, do you have anything for the haters? I'm like, no, they're all brain blood anyway. And it's not at all because they're not capable of conscious. It's just that they are conscious.
Consciousness is everything. So the thing that is the most important thing to understand about Jay Bizzle, the J Beast, is that fuck it, I'm on one perspective. What you're doing is you're trying to understand and get there. Congratulations, wonderful and all that, but you're either speaking not from facts, or you don't understand, or you don't have a pure understanding of what the bigger picture is. So at the end of the day, man, it's awesome to have you here, and it's awesome to know that you're definitely coming back, because we got a lot to talk about, brother. We really do.
This is awesome. This is a great experience. Thank you so much.
And then, I know Jay Rubes was sitting there, cocked back like, yo, I'm feeling my meditation and breath work. But yeah, we're gonna. It's a block, and it was great having you on here, man. Just really getting down to the bare bones of who you are, and to me, the best thing I could see in anybody is their smile, man. And I saw that pureness of joy, especially from a person who comes from complex PTSD. Being happy genuinely are moments I'll understand love, because I like my life unto like a noir film, and anytime there's color snippets in any way, those are what I'm cherishing. And I cherish a moment where, you know, a person can completely be themselves without no regard. And that is keeping it 1 million, fuck 1,000, fuck 100. You're keeping it 1 million. And that's real awesome. So it's been a pleasure having you. J. Rubes, take us out, brother.
All right, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to the 2400 Block podcast. We had Jaime Bennington as our guest, and I did not call him Chester. See, I passed. Yeah, by the way, this will be episodes 0506 and 0507. So we're going to make this a two-parter.
Yeah.
So, Jaime, you're special.
Thank you so much. This is an awesome opportunity. I'm glad that when I got the email, you're like, we'd like to do our separate segments because we want to do our own thing together. I was like, how can I say no? Like, that's just an insanely cool thing to say.